future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Catherine Gray.
Welcome today to Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by 360karma.com. As always, we have on two really amazing women today. We're going to first start with Patrika Darbo, who is an Emmy Award-winning actress. She's in television and film, and you're going to just love her. She's a lot of fun. And then later in the show, we're going to be talking with Lisa Hennessy. Incredible career in television, and now she has DreamJobbing, which is helping young people get into the industry. Fascinating. You're not going to want to miss that. Stay tuned for that. And right now, please give a warm welcome to Patrika Darbo. Hi, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, I love your story. Let's talk about how you got into acting, because I know there's so many women out there, especially that think that they can't get into, not only acting, but they think they can't do things later in life. So I love your story that you actually got into acting in your 40s.
Well, it's funny. I was born at a time where your parents said learn to type because women need to know how to type.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get a job other than typing.
Yeah.
And so I started off as a credit manager. I had a full-time job with people working for me. I did acting part-time.
Right.
I did a lot of community theater.
Yeah.
I met my husband in community theater. Then I got to do a little television here and there. I never took a vacation because I turned in time. And then I had a man tell me that I was a woman no more than a goat.
Oh,
and
my
to
God.
never contradict him again. So
his name wasn't Donald, was it?
no, but it's interesting. At the time, it was like this kind of thing. But as I look back on it now, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Yeah, you and I talked about that. I
Yes,
said, I guess it was
yes.
a blessing in disguise, that crazy guy, And karma's tough. So God only knows what happened to him, but look what happened to you. Life is like grand,
It's true. Well, I told him
Yeah.
that their company would be bankrupt in 6 months if he didn't pay attention to me, and he didn't, and they were, and
I told
I
you.
went on to win an Emmy. So
That's it. That's karma, baby.
Karma is
I
good.
love it. So, but people might like to understand, your background, your story. So it started in Wisconsin?
No, I was born in Florida. Remember,
that's
born in
right,
Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Born in Jacksonville,
Yeah.
Florida. My mother remarried. My mom and dad divorced. My mother remarried. My stepdad was with the Braves organization.
And that's how you ended up in
And
Wisconsin.
that's how I ended up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up in Georgia because
my
the Braves
gosh.
moved from Milwaukee to Atlanta. And then out of college, I went to Georgia Southern in Statesboro, and then I came to California to be an actor, but sort of along the way I stayed in my credit job, and because I was a lousy waitress, Catherine.
I would have been too. I'm good at I'm good at being at the restaurant, but I would not be a good server. But what about, I know I always try to look at, what is it that made you so independent and resilient? You had quite an interesting upbringing in that you were, because of the divorce, you were with your grandmother a lot.
My paternal grandmother.
Yeah.
So my grandmother. So my sister,
Was
brother,
she
and
awesome?
She was, and so it was hard sometimes when one parent would want you to choose the other, and we always wanted to stay with my grandmother. But
and so many listeners, I think, identify with this because how many kids come from a divorced family? Like at least 50% of the country.
And
right?
my mother had lupus at the time, and when it really wasn't, you never even heard about lupus. And now with Selena Gomez, you hear about it all the time. But my mother was also given a lot of steroids at the time, but that time they didn't really know about steroid rage.
And
so
those can be dangerous. Yeah.
Which creates who you are. My sister, brother, and I never knew who was the good kid and the bad kid sometimes. And
in other words, she was taking steroids because of the lupus.
Yeah, because of the lupus.
And it was affecting, you never knew what you were going to get because it causes rage.
Yes.
Oh, that had to have been tough.
It was tough, but again, I think as we talked about, it does, your background makes you who you are.
It does. So what good came out of that, do you feel like?
An Emmy.
Oh, so you channeled it in your acting?
And I think all of us are products of how we're brought up and what we're doing.
Right.
And I think that the most important thing that I can say to anybody is don't let somebody dictate what you want. In other words, if you want to be an actor, or you want to be a credit manager, or you want to be a waitress, or whatever you want to do, you are the commander of that ship. You get to make that decision. No one else. And don't let anyone, under any circumstances, live your dream for you. You go out there and you get it. And when I mentor young women, which I try to do, and let me just say this, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and all these places, and I respond to all my own mail. If you have a question for me, I'm there. Just let me know. It takes me a while, but I'll get back to you. I believe what goes around comes around. No one should have to tell you to be nice to anyone. You should just do it.
Right.
And
I always heard this saying, someone who's not nice to the waiter is not a nice person. And I've really found that pretty much to be true.
Well, it truly is. And some, and unfortunately, we all have bad days, but it's your bad day.
You weren't nice to a waiter, were you?
Yeah. Well, no,
kidding.
it's not so
I'm
much
just
that, but you know what I'm saying? It's your bad day.
Yes, it's your
Don't
bad day.
take
We
it
all
out
have bad days.
Don't take it out on someone else.
Yes.
I had a friend who was a waitress, and somebody would go in, last time I was in here, I told you. And she'd go, was I your waitress?
Yeah.
And they would go, no. Well, she said, then we're starting new, aren't we? Because I didn't do anything to you, so we're going to start all over again.
I like her already.
Yeah, so it's that kind of thing. So, I think my childhood influenced who I was going to be. I came out here.
Another part of your childhood that I found fascinating was that your dad was, your stepdad was like
my stepdad was classified as a midget. He was known as the biggest little man in baseball.
Yeah.
His name was Don Davidson. He wrote a book called Caught Short.
Oh my gosh!
And it's basically about his life in baseball, and he
was a big influence in your life.
Big influence because my dad, being 4'2", who would have thought that he would have been the traveling secretary for three major baseball teams.
Wow!
He started with the Boston Braves, Milwaukee Braves, Atlanta Braves. Before he passed away, he was with the Houston Astros. He would have loved that they beat L.A. Sorry, guys, but he would have loved that.
And he would have loved that you won an Emmy.
Very much so, very much so. Even though he wanted me to type, and I was making enough money for a woman. Those were the days. But his buttons would have popped, and in reality, my real dad's buttons would have popped. But my stepdad, because he was short, he did say he had a lot of tough times. I mean, he was always the kid that didn't, but he knew Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
He got to be part of that team.
Oh, cool.
And so.
And how did your mom meet him?
My mom was a waitress.
And she met him.
And she met him.
Yeah.
And then they fell in love and they got married. And we went to live in Wisconsin.
Wow. So that had to have been pretty traumatic, pulling up from Jacksonville and moving to
never
Wisconsin.
we're barefoot all the time, running around, and we go up to Wisconsin. There's snow up to your Appazutic. We're like, whoa, what's this about? So it was a little bit, and I think anytime for kids, it's a little bit of a shock. You go from your grandparents, and then suddenly you're with a new man who people are not kind to sometimes.
Right.
So it was a growing thing, but I saw my dad rise above all the name calling and the things like that, and the fact that this is what he wanted to do, and he went for it and got it. And
he seemed like a good role model.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think that that's part of your chutzpah, that you saw, here's this little guy, and look how well he did in this arena, and
I definitely
you know what? If he
think
could do it, I could too. And that's beautiful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think look around you. I think that there are different people around you all the time that you can learn from and grow from, and my dad was spectacular.
So here you are working as a credit manager, but you're dreaming of being an actress? Is at that time?
Well, at that time, of course, everybody is. You do your little magazine things where you put out what your imaginary things and what you're going to strive for, your vision board kind of thing. Thank you.
I'm a big believer in that.
I do, and I have pictures of me holding the Oscar, but I have the Emmy, so I have something to strive for.
No wonder I said Oscar. I saw your future.
There you saw it. There you go. All right. And it's never too late. I mean, I will be 70 on my birthday coming up, and
I can't believe that.
Thank you very much.
I cannot
Thank you.
believe that.
I'm
and
very
you started
blessed.
in your 40s, so now you've had a whole lifetime in this arena.
I've had 2 careers so far, try, and what's to say I can't have a third? I'm trying to produce and do some other things right this moment. So you're never too old. You should never stop believing and dreaming and doing whatever you want to do. And if it's not working for you, change your mind and do something else. It's just that easy. I mean, it doesn't sound like easy. And believe me, when I was growing up and my mother was like popping you because you had that look on your face, you didn't think so. But it can happen. And
okay, so you're a credit manager. You walk out on the job. You're wanting to be a full-time actress. What's the first thing you did? Like, how did you make that big leap?
Well, first of all, I went home, sat down, and went, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And then it's like I do believe that what goes around comes around. It couldn't have been a day before I got a phone call to come and audition for a play, and it was written by Del Shores called Cheatin', and that started it. That started the whole thing. I did the next show for Del,
and I think Del has had a radio show here at
yes,
UBN.
He did. Absolutely. Del had one, and he does a lot of stand-up around. He's a brilliant writer. And
I loved his movies, Sordid Lives.
Sordid Lives. He's got a whole chain of those going on right this moment.
Big cult following for
that.
that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I was blessed. I got to originate the role in 3 of his shows. So,
and then one of the shows you were in turned into a movie, and you were cast in that.
That was Daddy's Dying, Who's Got the Will, and I got
Wait a minute. Daddy's Dying, Who's Got the Will?
Yes.
That sounds like his humor. Yeah, that's funny. You got to want to see a movie called that.
It is. Please go see it. Maybe I'll get a residual. So that one, I did it on stage for 2 years at Theater here in Los Angeles, which is now a Greyhound bus stop on Cahuenga. But we did it for 2 years there. We went to Edinburgh and performed the play there.
Oh, how fun.
It was wonderful. And then I got to reprise my role in the film, and then ABC put me under contract. Then I did Step by Step, and I've been busy ever since.
You are busy.
Thank you.
I know. I had a hard time booking you from Anthony Turk.
Thank you.
I said, we've been talking about it for a while, but you're a busy lady. You're on The Bold and the Beautiful now.
Yes, I am now. Thank you.
Love that.
It's terrific. I've been on The Bold and the Beautiful. I was on Days of Our Lives.
You've been in The Middle. You've been in you were in one of my favorite movies of all time, in the Garden of
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Well, that was great. It was interesting because I had done In the Line of Fire, and I didn't work with Clint Eastwood at that time, but he loved the scene that John Malkovich and I did in the bank, not the death scene, but in the bank, and he hired me to do Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. So,
hey, that's pretty cool when Clint Eastwood is saying, I want her.
Always. Hello.
That credit clerk, boy, if anybody's out there sitting there like not liking their job, wanting to be an actress, you are definitely an inspiration for this.
Well, it's your show, too, when you think about it. I mean, you got to live your life, you've got to thrive, and you've got to love what you're doing all the time. And when you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yes.
I didn't coin that.
Yes.
I think that Eleanor Roosevelt said something, too, that was always my favorite. No one can ever make you feel bad about yourself unless you allow it.
Right.
So don't let anybody tell you what your dreams are. You can't have them. Nobody can do that for you.
Right.
You can have anything you want. And
do you prefer to do television or film, or do you just like it all?
I really, truly love it all. Doing a daytime show is probably the hardest work I've ever done because we shoot a movie script a day.
Wow.
So that's a lot of memorizing, a lot of hard work. I give my fellow actors kudos for that when you think about our writers and producers because they have to write a movie script a day.
Sure.
Our producers are there when we get there and when we go home.
Yeah,
so
people don't realize these are long days.
Long,
this is not an
long
easy
days.
job.
No, you can go in at 6:30 in the morning and you're not home until 8 or 9 at night,
Wow.
or longer.
And how many of those do you shoot a week?
Usually they space it out so actors probably work maybe 2 or 3 times a week if they're heavy into program and stuff, which gives you enough time to memorize your lines and do stuff.
So the time that you're not there shooting, you're memorizing.
Memorizing.
I mean, it is like all
and as you get a little older, you never leave your sofa. You're memorizing all the time.
Well, and that's another thing. A lot of people don't realize maybe they want to be an actor, but I was saying, you and I were talking about one of the most important components is you have to be good at memorizing.
You do too.
I think
but
that's a real gift too.
It's a gift, but I think
that's not
reading,
easy.
it's young kids. When I talk to kids in schools, when I go and do that, it's like you have to impress upon children, and this is for parents too. Reading, Reading. Please read to your children. And kids, you know, put the phone down for a few minutes, pick up a smelly old book from the library and read it, because that's how we get jobs as an actor. We have to read.
Right.
We have parts, and that's so important.
Right.
And that's one of the things when I'm mentoring my other actors is read scripts. Go and read stuff. Practice reading out loud so that you get better at what you're doing.
I have to interject. I saw Tyne Daly at the Geffen last night in a play, and it was hilarious. About they said, you know, she says, go to the library and read, and he says, and read, and he says, Mom, there are no books in the libraries anymore.
Isn't it terrible? I mean, it's really, there's sometimes I mean, I have a Kindle. I will say that, because it's easier to carry 3 books with a Kindle.
I think people are moving too.
But every once in a while, when you pick up a book, it's so interesting.
Is there something wrong with me?
No, I agree with you. Sometimes just having that book and turning the page
Me
and do it is
too.
really
and the newspaper too.
Oh,
I'm really
I like
old
to read
school.
the paper. And I do, and the read. You know what? Don't read just the first page. Go to the 4th or 5th page and read the little things. I love on the, what is the paper that comes out? I want to say Wall Street Journal, but it's not the Wall Street Journal. It's the blah blah blah. It's the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But anyway, they always have in one of the pages, they have like every state listed.
Yeah.
And little things that are happening in each state.
Oh yeah, USA Today.
USA Today.
Thank
That's
you.
it. The USA Today. Every state has got a little blurb about something going. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it
I
is.
really find that fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember on an airplane reading the insert in the magazine there about a lady who she put her kid through different dance classes. She had a boob job, I hope I can say that, all by doing coupons. She
Oh
was
my
the
gosh.
coupon queen. I mean, you can find such really interesting things.
Human interest
Just
stories.
read.
That's why I like Sunday morning. That's why I do this show. I love human interest stories that are positive.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I don't feel like we have enough of that. I tell people, turn off the news. It's just so, it sucks the energy out of you.
Well, it doesn't. Nobody ever goes and says, like, we were talking in the other room before where your other guest was on, and I was speaking with your next guest, and we were talking about the different things that come up. Nobody talks about the kids who are raising puppies to be service animals.
Right.
Nobody talks about the kids who they don't trick or treat for candy. They trick or treat for UNICEF.
Where are those stories?
Where are those? Why don't we encourage these kids that are doing good things? Why don't we help them? That's what we as adults and even other kids in high school, if you're a senior, mentor a freshman. Let's not try to take over each other's lives. Let's help each other.
I think people do want those human interest stories. I think people tell me, I think they put on that bad news because that's what, shoot them up, bang them up, that's what people want. I said, no, I think it's because men run Hollywood.
Thank you.
And they write the scripts and they direct it and they think that's what people want. But I don't think that's what people want. I think if more women rose up in Hollywood to write and direct, I think the programming would be different, more positive, more human interest, like CBS Sunday Morning, let's say, which is my favorite show, because there's human interest stories, and everybody loves that show. Everybody
would rather feel good.
Yeah.
And isn't that wonderful? Even if you're sobbing in your Kleenex going, that's just so fabulous, I don't believe it. I mean, those kind of stories make your heart feel good, make you want to face the day and have a much better day.
Right.
Instead of 14 people shot dead today at McDonald's. I mean, really? Come on.
I know. We've got to turn it around, and it's in our hands. Like you said, we create our fate. Well, we create our world. And we're all a part of it, and we either participate in it or we add to it in a positive way. And that's what I think you're doing, because
thank you.
You're showing women at any age you can live the life you love and do what you love. I think it's great that you're acting, because acting is a tough thing to break into.
Well, it's not the easiest. I mean,
but you did it. You proved it.
I'm very blessed.
What's next?
What's next? Being the producer is next.
Really?
But you know what's interesting?
I love that.
As we're sitting here right this moment doing this wonderful show, and you can see us, so many people now, if they've got a camera, can create their own stuff. Yeah. 2 years ago, one of the Academy nominated films was Tangerine. It was shot on an iPhone.
Right. I remember
we have the ability to create and do these life stories.
Yes.
And
there's nothing holding anybody back.
Nothing. And if somebody turns you down, create your own. Go out there. Don't be a participant in your own life.
Right.
That's the best thing to do.
Right. Absolutely.
So much.
So what would you like to produce?
Are
you a writer too?
I've written a couple things that I'm working on right this moment. hopefully that'll pick up. I would talk to about it, but I'm not supposed to talk to about it. But
you'd have to kill me.
Yeah,
and
no,
it
wouldn't be good. Like this. So hopefully the next time I'm here, I'll be talking to you about my human interest thing that we're doing, and it'll be great. But I hope your next guest got me excited about getting and participating in something else that I can't wait to find out more about.
And I know you do give back, so you volunteer to help others get into the industry.
Well, I'm part of I'm the co-chair of the Women's Committee at the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, which are our two unions for performing. I belong to Women in Film and mentor there.
That's great. See, I believe successful women should be giving back. Successful people should be giving back because they've been blessed, and it needs to be paid forward, right?
I think so. And I think even if you suddenly think, what do I have to offer? Everyone has something to bring to the table. So never negate your own feelings or your own abilities to do something. I mean, that's just so important to me, is that you just know that you can do it. You have the power. We as women have the power, and especially right now.
Right.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
Because we found a voice.
Yes.
We found a voice. It's unfortunate that the voice has to have a lot of sadness with it, but I think out of that sadness can come power.
Yes.
And we should use it in the most positive ways.
Yes. Now, you serve on the board of the Television Academy,
yes,
right?
Yes.
With one of my favorites, Lily Tomlin.
I adore her. Lily and I are co-governors for the Performers Peer Group at the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. This is the group.
She's got to be fun to work with.
Oh, she's amazing. Amazing. And I think probably for me, it took me about, I still am doing it, where I look at her and go, oh my God, I am the co-governor with Lily Tomlin. And so it's like, because she's an icon in our business.
Oh, she is.
She's someone I grew up watching.
Yes.
On Laugh-In, and
here you are working
and
side by
I'm
side.
now working with. And you know that sometimes we have our own. I'll have my own self-doubts, and I'll go, oh, I don't know if I can do this, and then I suddenly go, I'm in the room with all these people that I know that are on television all the day.
You did
and
it. You did it.
I did it, and I'm just, and it has nothing to do with my talent now. It's just, I have the right look? Am I the right ethnicity? Am I the right age? So it's become those kind of things.
But you break all the barriers. Age or a particular look, or you break the barrier.
Well, I think we have to. I think, again, you can't let somebody tell you can't. I mean, if I'd listen to people say you have such a pretty face, when you lose weight, you can probably make it in this business.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Yeah.
And come on. Whether I'm heavy or I'm small, I have the same face, and how dare you tell me that?
Yeah, really. And also, too, whatever programming that we watch, whatever TV shows, movies, it's made up of people from life.
It's I call it the American scene. It's reflective about when you walk down the street.
Right.
We don't all look the same.
Yeah, it's not all about 6'2", blonde, bombshells. It's like real life people, right?
And I think we should realize that we are part of that real life people.
Yeah.
That we are just as good as the person to the right or the left of us, or in front or in back of us. And
we don't all have to look like models.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
You certainly don't.
Yeah. And so what would your advice be to, let's say somebody is midlife and really their secret dream is that they would like to be an actress? What should they do to step out and make that happen, like you did?
Get in a class. There are classes, and classes do not dictate to you whether you have experience or no experience. They have beginning, middle, and intermediate. Just go enjoy a class. And don't just take one class, because sometimes you may be intimidated in that class. Maybe that teacher is not as warm and opening. So take another class.
Right.
Don't
Till you find the right fit.
Right. Find the right fit, and then grow in there until you're ready to go to that other class, or the one that you stepped out of because you didn't feel you were adequate enough. And we're all adequate. Don't let anybody tell you you're not.
And
but
do you think it's also connecting with people in the community?
Oh, you know what?
Right?
It's the biggest thing I can tell the people that I mentor is, don't sit in a bar whining about the fact you don't have a job. Get your butt in a class.
Yes, and connect.
And connect. And internet, and not internet,
I love it. So we can see you at the Bold and the Beautiful.
Yes.
And what else is coming up?
Well, I've got the Bay, which I did, which is in its 3rd season right this moment. Ladies of the Lake is coming out, which is another. These are 2 internet shows that I just did, which I told you everybody.
You won an Emmy Award for that.
Thank you. I did. My Emmy was for acting dead,
Yeah.
which is about an actor who couldn't get a job till he turned himself into a zombie, and I play his ex-travel agent, now his talent agent, and I was very, very blessed. I won the first short form category Emmy as the best actress.
You go, girl.
I was. It's terrific. So
Proud of you.
Very, very happy about that. And as a governor with Lily Tomlin, as we talked about a moment, we serve on the board, and so we make a lot of decisions about different things that are happening with the Television Academy. And if I can say anything, if anybody out there is in the Academy, please go and register, because the daytime Emmys are coming up now, and we need voters all the time. So,
and if people would like to connect with you, patrikadarbo.com.
yeah, that's where you can get me.
Love
Patrika
it.
Darbo everywhere. So
Love it.
That's it.
Thank you for being on. You're an inspiration.
Thank you so much.
I love it. And we will be back next week with, we'll be back in a few minutes with our next guest, Lisa Hennessy, and she is incredible. You're going to want to hear about DreamJobbing. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in to the Live, Love, Thrive show, where we bring you powerful and positive programming about women and those who support women's empowerment. It seems by sharing their stories and showing us their talent and potential, they remind us of our own. We ask you to join us weekly by taking a minute to subscribe to our 360 Karma YouTube channel, so you get to see every episode of these uplifting and inspiring stories. We all need more of this, yes? And did you know we have the Live, Love, Thrive book on our 360 Karma website and on Amazon? If you enjoy reading books of incredible women who are doing amazing work in the world, you will want to pick up a copy. Also, when you join 360karma.com, you will enjoy our growing video content of expert advice and support, and learn about our workshops. If you would like to align with a like-minded, purpose-driven community, you will feel at home at 360karma.com. We encourage and support you to live the life you love.
RTB Financial Group empowers women to raise the bar and take control of their financial future. For more information, visit rtbfinancialgroup.com or call Amanda Barr at 424-284-4216. The Live, Love, Thrive program is brought to you in part by Honda of downtown Los Angeles, supporting the equality and empowerment of women.
And we were back with Lisa Hennessy from DreamJobbing. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you.
Great.
Pleasure
Well,
to be here.
I am so excited to talk about DreamJobbing because you guys are really doing something very cutting edge, game changing. But first, I want to talk about how you got to where you are now to even launch this cool project. So you were telling me you grew up in Chicago,
yeah.
right? And
Go
and that
Cubs.
was yeah, and like you loved it there, yes?
Yeah, it's a great city. It's a really
Yeah.
great city. It's a great place to be from. I'm very proud that that's part of my DNA.
I think I still hear your accent.
Do you?
I think
oh,
so.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And are your folks followed you out here? You told me.
My sister followed me after college, and then my folks came out as well. So the whole family
nice.
migrated west.
Oh, isn't that great? Because
yeah.
I'm bummed because my family's still on the East Coast, but thank God my partner Deborah's family, she has like 2,000 relatives. They're all here, so I have a whole new family out here on the West Coast, but still have the family on the East Coast. So you're so lucky that yours came out and followed you
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it makes it easy. My parents are on their way over to my house today, which is
Oh,
great. So
nice.
we're really close, and it's nice to now have my West Coast family, which is
Yeah.
wonderful.
So you were telling me that growing up, everything came pretty easy, and like you were like a great student and everything. But when you got out of college, you didn't realize how difficult it was to get that dream job that you wanted.
Yeah.
And so all these years later, after you get into television and you have this super successful career, you're, you know, a Emmy Award
Emmy nominated. I never got the award yet, but yeah.
And so what I want to do is talk about how you got into this business, because I think people always love hearing about that. That's what we were talking about with Patrika, about being an actress. But you as a producer for this like incredibly successful Mark Burnett Productions, that had to be an incredible ride. You were with them like 14 years?
Yeah, long time.
And for people that don't know Mark Burnett, which I don't know who in this town wouldn't, but maybe we have listeners elsewhere, he is like that company is like the leader in reality TV.
Competition reality shows. We launched Survivor, which was sort of changed the groundwork of television.
So I'm wondering if what happened to you is what happened to me, is that after a long, successful career in what we were doing, I finally said, oh my gosh, I really want to do something to make a difference. Is that...
That's exactly
I can
what
assume
happened.
that that's what happened with you,
right?
right?
100%. There's a point in your life where you want to be of service and do something on your own and something bigger than you. Like I really truly, like, to me, dream jobbing, and we'll get into that, is I want to create something that will outlive me,
right?
And really make a mark. So
take me back to when you came out of college. What happened? What was the reality check that you got?
I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah, we all can.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, you think back, like, it makes your palms sweat even thinking about it. When you graduate, you spend all this time working on your education. For some people, spending their parents' money. For others, in student debt, and then you graduate, and it's just sort of this void, or it's overwhelming, or it's difficult. You just really have no idea what path you should choose, or your parents have an idea. Maybe your friends have an idea, maybe your college has an idea, but you don't know what path to go down.
Right,
and it's incredibly overwhelming. So for me,
and I think that's like most kids. Like once in a while you have some kid that goes,
I want to be a doctor.
From 10 years old, they're like, I want to be a doctor, or whatever.
Yeah.
But most kids get out of college going, what do I do now, right?
Yeah.
How do I figure out what I want to be doing? And even once I figure it out, well, how do I make it happen, especially if it feels like a big dream? So was your dream always to work in the television industry?
No, it wasn't. Actually, I wanted to. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I don't know. It was a really blank time for me.
Did it just kind of fall in your lap? Like no, how did you end up out here in LA?
The sunshine.
Yeah. You were like,
when you grew up in
sunshine, I'm there. Yeah.
I had an idea that I wanted to work in public relations, and so I came out to California. I really truly enjoyed the sunshine. LA has been incredibly good to me. I absolutely love my adopted home of California. And I was working in public relations, and I heard about this adventure program that was just starting, and it was sports, it was teamwork, it was adventure, and it was called Eco Challenge, and that was Mark Burnett's first program. It was really truly more of a race, and he had just started it.
Now, did that end up being the Amazing Race?
No, it was before the Amazing Race. It was really before everything, honestly. It was the very beginning of everything. It was in 1995, and I really truly just basically bugged him until he hired me because I just knew I had this like epiphany that was what I was meant to do.
So how did you meet him that you could bug him? Like, how did that happen?
Faxes, phone calls, 6 months of perseverance. There was 5 of us in the office.
Okay, so now you were in LA by this time?
Correct. I'd already lived in LA. Yeah, moved to LA.
And you heard about this Eco Challenge, and you thought, I want to work on that.
Yeah, that was it. That was it, honestly.
And, and that's the whole thing that people don't understand. Once you know what you want and you put that intention on it and you took the actions to make it happen, well, that's why it happened. It didn't just like fall in your lap. You made it happen. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
We do create our fate.
Yeah, you do. And it was before emails or social media or anything. So, I mean, it was really truly faxes and phone calls. And then I got an interview with him and started working on Eco Challenge as a coordinator. And by 2 years later, I was running the show, basically running his company. And that was,
oh my gosh.
And I was young. I was only 27 when I was having all this responsibility, which was incredible. And we produced that event and that TV show all around the world for 8 years in amazing countries like New Zealand, Australia, Morocco, Argentina, and I could not be any more proud and any more grateful for that incredible ride. It was absolutely incredible and amazing. And
probably a lot of hard work.
24/7. 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, reality TV really is intense.
Yeah, and doing
work
that in the
schedule,
middle
yeah.
of nowhere. So it was 24/7.
Right.
So this race was teams of 4, and they would compete over 500 kilometers.
Wow.
And it was super intense.
But did you
and
love it?
Loved it. Loved
Loved
it.
it.
Oh my
So you
gosh.
loved- yeah, you
loved
were
every
doing-
minute of it.
yeah.
No, that was really truly the most amazing period of time for all of us. I think
Yeah,
Mark
Patrika
would
says that
even,
when you're doing what you love,
it's not even a job.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we used to laugh. We were like, oh, this isn't a paycheck too.
Yeah,
This is
right.
incredible.
Yeah.
And then in 2000, we pitched at Survivor, and Survivor happened, and that really changed
Oh,
the
wow, that-
landscape of television.
Yeah, it sure
forever.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really it was an exciting ride, and
Is that
it's,
still on? It's,
Yeah, I think it's 34 seasons. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 17 years.
Oh my gosh!
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you did Survivor next, and did you work on any of his other shows, or mainly Survivor?
Yeah, well, Survivor, I helped launch Survivor. So we produced that. The very first Survivor was in Borneo. It was in this little island called Pulatiga, and it was right off the coast of where we were also producing Eco Challenge, which is Malaysia, Borneo, which was incredible. So I spent my 30th birthday actually in Borneo, and I was so sick. I had whooping cough. I was so ill, but I spent about 6 months in Malaysia. And
So this was a way for you to get to travel the world.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, but not even. But it was. You're not a tourist. You're not a traveler. You're living in these countries, and then you're also hiring locals and negotiating with locals, and there's just honestly, like I have so much gratitude that I was able to do that, because it gives you a global perspective. And when people ask me where I'm from, oftentimes I say I'm a global citizen. You know, I
Right.
really truly I've hired people, I've nurtured people, I've mentored people all around the world, and
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful for having those experiences. And
I
doing
have a
that.
friend that works for World Vision who has traveled to like 60 countries, and she said people that are here that haven't done that just don't have the perspective of understanding people around the globe.
Yeah.
Like it really, what you had was such an incredible opportunity and experience that you can never, it changes the very fiber of who you are and how you think, right?
Yeah, well, it's because it's become part of me. You know, eating the food, seeing the, you know, all my memories are a combination of who I am, and so if I've lived in all these different countries, you know, that really truly makes me a global citizen. And,
Absolutely.
and there's an obligation to that as well once you become that person.
What other shows of Mark's did you work on?
I did a show that was a co-production with DreamWorks called The Contender. So I worked with Sylvester Stallone was our host.
Oh my gosh.
Sugar Ray Leonard was also on the show, who's amazing. He's one of my favorite people.
I went to a fundraiser at his house not that long
Oh,
ago.
he's lovely. He's
Yeah.
such a, I adore, he's such a legend, like absolute legend. Rockstar was a show we did for CBS where we found a new lead singer for In Excess.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah, and that was super special for me because I grew up just loving In Excess. Like In Excess was my band, and then all of a sudden I'm,
Working
on
on it.
working
Oh my
with them.
God, that's crazy,
Yeah,
isn't
it was
it?
incredible.
Your
And
life sounds so amazing.
yeah, it's been.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very blessed and very
Yeah.
so grateful.
I'm not a
everything.
big reality show person, but I do like Shark Tank. And I don't know if you know, but I have an offshoot of that. I just did a local live event that we're putting into a web series called She Tank.
Oh, that's great. Yes, yes,
so
I
it's
did. I did.
women investors listening to the pitches of female entrepreneurs, and then there's other little caveats to it that make it different, you know.
amazing.
But we want to do that in cities around the country.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
I'm in to help with it, whatever hand can, and I'm raising money, so I can be on. Hopefully, can I be on She Tank?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
And
cool.
pitch, yeah.
Oh, we'd love that.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
we'd
you.
love that. And oddly enough, Mark Burnett's ex-wife, Kim Gold, who is a powerhouse in and of herself, that was one of the co-founders of True Religion Jeans, was on our panel, our first premiere panel, and she's awesome.
Yeah, she's a powerhouse, for
Yeah, it's
sure.
like this really small world here in in Hollywood, right?
Which I love, and
Yeah.
I feel like Hollywood of all places really helps each other, which I really like.
Yes.
I really feel like when you're in Los Angeles, people are constantly helping and connecting and applauding people for success. Like we don't have that problem where we put people down for being successful. I really feel like we're always trying to lift them up. And I'm really happy that you're doing this with the focus on women, because more than ever, I think women need to bond together.
I was going to say, yes, I feel that in Hollywood, and yes, it's a small community. Where I see room for improvement is bringing more women up into positions of influence.
Yep.
And that will change also the programming and movie making that I see. I think we don't see a lot that really appeals to women because of that. But I do see that changing. I'm on an advisory board of a company called Take the Lead, which taketheleadwomen.org, that Gloria Phelps, who was the past president of Planned Parenthood, started with, and I think Gloria Steinem is involved, and my friend Tabby Biddle is in charge of the Hollywood arena. And they're doing something called 50 Women Can Change the World in each industry. And they're taking the top 50 women in those industries, like Hollywood, to train them to go back into these major companies, and help bring women up the ranks, to help expedite it, because otherwise it'll take us like over 100 years to have equality and have women in positions of influence. And so we do have to have programs to help, help accelerate that.
Yeah, no, and
and
I love
that's
that
what I
word.
love about what you're doing for young people, is helping them with this dream jobbing. So let's talk about dream jobbing.
Yeah.
How did it get started? And let's tell the folks listening what it's about.
Yeah, well, it started, it was a kernel of an idea, because myself and my business partners really have been very fortunate. I just got done sort of telling the background of my story and how grateful I am. And I really believe that no matter where you are from or what community you're part of, that you should have an opportunity to get on the path of that dream career. And back when I was pursuing getting into Mark Burnett Productions, I had to make phone calls and I had to fax, and I got in. But now we're taking the idea that students can tell their story through video. Everyone's on video. They're on Snapchat. They're on Instagram. They're constantly telling their story. They 5 years ago, we wouldn't have talked about personal branding with students, but now they're branding themselves all the time. And so we're teaching them to brand themselves professionally using the DreamJobbing profile. So think of a LinkedIn profile with video for students. And then we teach them to reach out to professionals in order to get career advice for virtual mentorship. And the way we define the virtual mentorship is that the students have 15 minutes of time to ask 5 questions. And so a lot of these students don't know what careers are available, and then what a career even is. Like, I mean, there's a million different producers, for example, like a gazillion different producers, and so
or just
they can
on a
reach
Hollywood set. There's just so many different
jobs.
Positions that they would never even know about. From the person that handles the script to the assistants and I can't even think of all of them, because there's so many
different things. And even us who live in Hollywood, like, we don't even know what all these definitions of jobs are. And so the antiquated way of like a book, like What Color Is Your Parachute, first of all, kids aren't even reading books, and then the books or the career counselors don't even know what all these different jobs do. And so we teach students to reach out to professionals, to have this connection. Connection is key. It's really important to connect people. And then the video, it's via video. So if the mentor is fine and the mentee is fine, then we record that interaction, which then becomes a library of content for other students to access, to find out what different jobs are available. And then we also teach students to reach out to companies to get job shadowing experience.
Now, is this just in the entertainment industry?
No.
Oh, it's in various industries.
Yep.
So someone could say, you know what, my dream is to work on Wall Street, and you could help them with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. We basically teach them to fish. And we're working with students across the country. And so if a student from and a lot of kids want to be nurses. There's a lot of young students, and we work a lot with at-risk students. We work with the Boys and Girls Club, which many of you, your listeners, probably know of. We work with this organization called JAG, Jobs for America's Grads, which is the best organization that no one's heard of, which keeps at-risk students in school. And these students deserve opportunities just like anyone else. And so if you think about it, when a lot of the listeners maybe were growing up, they could reach out to their parents or their parents' friends for help. Hey, Mom, what does a nurse do? Or you're a nurse, can I come to your office or come to the hospital for a day? A lot of kids don't have that. A lot of kids, because of where they're from, they don't have parents that are, looking after them in terms of what their career is. Having a career, no matter who you are, is overwhelming. And so this at least allows students to reach out to people and get that connection and get hands-on advice.
Do you have some stories to share, like someone that came and participated in the program, and then now they are hooked up with someone in the industry.
There's so many. One of the young ladies who we also offer really, really amazing once in a lifetime dream jobs, and one of the girls, Anna K. Thomas, who had this amazing opportunity to work at VH1, she's now catapulted that into working for the Steve Harvey Show, and so now she's actually one of the on-air.
I think I saw her video.
Yeah,
she was like on the red carpet.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh my God, this is my dream job."
Yeah, and now
she's working for
Steve Harvey. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
God, that's awesome.
And then one of the other stories on the video, one of the girls, her name is Sydney Wheeler. She's part of this she's one of the at-risk students as part of Jobs for American Grads Florida. She connected with a production company. Once again, just asked 15 minutes of what it's like to work in a production company. During that 15-minute phone call, she was offered an internship.
Wow.
I mean, literally 15 minutes and she's offered an internship. So people want to be connected. People want to be able to connect with young students. They're just too busy.
Right.
And so in a lot of mentorship programs, it's just too much time for the mentor. And, being producers, we know how to get people to say yes. So, if you're spending 15 minutes on Instagram, scrolling through Instagram, how about giving a student from somewhere in the country who maybe wants to get into the profession you want to get into 15 minutes of your time and let them interview you? Like, it's amazing, and the connections that are, and it's just, I just want
people
all these connections.
Help.
Yeah, people want to help. People want to help, but they
don't know what vehicle to use. So that's what DreamJobbing is about.
Yeah, and we have mentors on our site. So if anyone out there would like to be a virtual mentor, you can contact us at info@dreamjobbing.com, and we'll add you to the platform. And
when did you guys start this? It's a new platform?
We launched it
a few years ago?
2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been so rewarding, and it's just great to see other people that we're affecting already.
And people can see the stories on the website, right? Because I know I saw some of your episodes of, like, I know there was one guy who got a dream job of doing photographs over in, like, I think it was Thailand or something.
Yeah.
And being a photojournalist. And does it matter what age? Like, are you?
No, and really truly, like, we really, we focus on students right now, high school students and college students, but people of all ages can participate. Like, to me, also one of our hashtags is change your story, because I think a lot of people have gone through a career for many years that may not be the right career for them, and this allows you to pivot and reach out to someone. You might have wanted to be a writer when you were young, but then you got married, had kids, and now
put
you
it
find
on the back burner.
You put it on the back burner, and now you find yourself being 40 and you don't know where to go.
My guest that was on right before you, Patrika Darbo.
Yep.
She was a credit manager till she was 40.
Oh my God! So she's
and then in her 40s became this like unbelievable actress. She's really successful and
it's incredible,
rocking it. Yeah,
and that's why we started this. We started this to help people follow their dreams, and because it's important not just to have a job for a paycheck, but to have a career is something that everyone, I think, should have.
To do what you love.
To do what you love, and then you'll never work again, really.
Truly. Yeah. And so you felt like you had that opportunity to do what you love, and you wanted to give other people that opportunity. Because, see, I love when people are super successful and then they pay it forward. Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah.
So, and I can only imagine how rewarding it must be to see people, contact you guys and go through the process and then actually get their dream job and go off on that trajectory. I mean, what could be more gratifying than that?
It's so gratifying, and we've seen so many successes, and to be able to help, especially the at-risk students, I'm very passionate about personally. I think that it's not fair that, where you're born shouldn't determine what opportunities you have.
I think you're so
and,
right.
And they need people like us. Like, we need to remember, especially all of us that live on the coast, like, there's a whole middle out there that's really struggling.
Yeah.
And to be able to help these young students have hope is everything, and to help them stay in school is everything. And
they must be so excited when you guys come and speak to them.
Oh, they are. And honestly, like,
because you're giving them hope.
Yeah, we are.
And you're opening their eyes to, wow, I can do anything. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So you go into them and you say, come to our website, make your video, and reach out to us for what mentor you want to connect with?
Well, we teach them to reach out to their own mentors. So they can, through LinkedIn or websites, you can find different people. And so they create a 1-minute video that states who they are. And then they ask people outside of our network who it could even be a celebrity, honestly. Like we've had a young student from Florida just reached out to a local news station in Jacksonville, Florida. And he reached out to the anchor, who's a sports anchor, and like 3 days later, the kid was on the show, like
because he sent his video.
He sent his video in, and he said,
it.
"I really want to know what it's like to be a sports entertainment or a sports anchor." And the sports anchor, he tweeted it to him, and the next thing you know, the sports anchor's like, "Come in and be part of the Jacksonville news."
That's a cool
and
story.
So, incredible. And now that news anchor's like, "This is incredible. I want to be more part of this." And so,
I love it.
So we're hopefully going to have more kids, job shadowing over there, which is really incredible.
So when they come to the site, you guys help them. There's like instructions or something of how to create that effective video.
Yeah, well, we mainly work with nonprofits and high schools, and so we have a curriculum as well. So
are you getting it underwritten by sponsors and investors?
Well, it's the nonprofit branches pay a fee to have a page on the DreamJobbing platform, and then they have their students make. They're basically teaching the students to use the platform.
So are you reaching out to nonprofits? Is that what you're doing
Correct,
now?
Yeah. We work with nonprofits. We work with a couple high schools here in Los Angeles.
So if people are affiliated listeners with high schools or nonprofits, they should reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And colleges as well. We're working with students at USC. And most of the students that work at this class called My Grads Get Jobs, which is a good friend, or my friend Chris Parkinson's the professor over there. The kids that make their video, they get jobs at the Ellen Show. So we've had a ton of students getting opportunities on the Ellen Show. And then recently a young student, I didn't even know she got this opportunity, but I got this testimonial video, which was so great for me to see. She's a young girl from Atlanta, and it was between her and another girl, and because of her DreamJobbing video, she got a job at DreamWorks Animation.
Oh my God,
which
that's
is incredible.
fantastic.
I was so happy to see it.
Well, that's a good one to end on.
Yeah.
We're going to end on that note because obviously what you're doing is helping make people find their dream jobs.
Yep.
Perfect name.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
So
Thank
important.
you. And back at you.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting women. It's really important.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we will be back next week with more awesome women. And be sure to look up DreamJobbing. Really cool. All right. Hugs and happiness. See you next week.
Thank you.